So I've been stressing about doing this for a couple months now, and finally I just need to tell my truth of things. So basically, what I'm going to do is kind of start in the middle, and then I'm going to share things from the beginning and then what happened after this middle part. So imagine one day you're doing dishes with your husband and you realize that you're looking at your phone in the middle of drying some and you realize that you have um, a message in Messenger, Facebook Messenger. So I go in there and I see it's from my husband. And I thought that was weird, but I, I opened it up and it was a video. So I pushed play, and the video was of a black man who was running across the parking lot, and behind him he was being chased by police officers. So, and it was basically a broadcast from a local TV station. And so after I watch it, I turn it off and I say to my husband, "Why did you send that to me?" And he's like, "Well, I know that person." And I said, "Well, how do you know him?" And he's like, "Well, he's from the people that I've been doing this other stuff with." And he says to me that, that guy got arrested. And I said, "Oh, are you worried that that might happen to you?" And he said, yeah, I'm worried that I too might, get in trouble and get arrested and go in jail. And kind of worried me. It made me kind of stop and really understand that what he had been working on or doing for the last few years was really starting to catch up to him, which is what I had thought was going to eventually happen. So I said to him, I'm like, "Well, what are we going to do?" And he's like, "Well, I don't want you to get involved in this. I don't want you to be part of this. So I think the best thing for us to do is get a divorce." And I immediately went into like, "What? What do you mean? Why do we need to get a divorce?" And he's like, "I just think for your own, safety and stuff, that I think that would be best if we got a divorce." And I started crying because at this point I had been married to this person for, I think it was about 8 years at that point. And I couldn't imagine that this is someone who's now asking me for a divorce, and I couldn't figure out why. This had been or was the person that I had been with for about 18 years total. And I couldn't imagine that this was my love. Why are we doing this? And so I said that to him. I said, "Well, you've always told me we can get through anything, and I don't understand how us getting divorced is gonna make this a better situation." And I said, "Are these people threatening you?" And he went on to say yes, that he was fearful for us as a family and also for his family overseas, and that the best thing to protect us would be for us to get a divorce. So as I'm crying, I'm like, do you just want to have a divorce? Is this just an excuse? Is there something else going on? And no, he kept telling me no. Well, and I said, "Well, then what does this mean? We're just going to be divorced now forever?" And he's like, no, we can get married at a different point. I'm like, "Well, when is that going to be? Like a year from now, 2 years? I mean, what if you're so deep into this stuff you're doing? How is this ever going to be something that we can be away from and we can get married?" And he's like, "Well, probably in a couple years." And I'm like, "Are you sure this is what you want? You're not just wanting a divorce?" "No. Promise me the moon and the stars. No, we'll get married. We'll get remarried." I asked him, is anything going to change? I mean, our anniversary is in about 5 months from now, 6 months. Oh, no, no. We'll still celebrate our anniversaries. Nothing will change. Just on paper, we won't be married. And since, I took a vow when I got married, to love and honor and cherish someone from sickness and death and all that baloney, I decided to trust him and go along with this charade. So over the next month, we started working on getting the divorce together. I was the one who pretty much did the paperwork, because he never did paperwork kind of stuff while we were, married, like go to the doctor's office, new doctor. I was the one who was doing the paperwork and all that. So I started researching the price and what forms we needed to do, and filled out the forms. And, we had to do parenting classes, and we had to do the custody thing. And, a couple key things he was very adamant about was that child support had to be, not that much, because if he was to get arrested, he didn't want to have to pay back child support. So, at first he wanted it just to be $100. And as I was reading things and stuff, I'm like, I don't think that's going to fly. I think we need to do at least 200. And so he finally agreed. And, because this was a charade, I thought, of a divorce. I didn't really think much of it. And he was also very persistent. So this was July when he asked for this, but he was very persistent that the divorce had to be as of February 14th of that year. So this was 2022. So the divorce had to be as of February 14th, 2022 would be when we filed. Obviously, it would take some time for the lawyers to, or not the lawyers, but the judges to review it and approve it and everything. But it had to be February 14th, 2022. And that's a key date I want you to remember as I continue to tell this story. So we turned in our stuff and everything got approved, and we were quote unquote divorced as of, I think it was sometime in November, mid-November or something like that of that year, 2022. We, even got notice that we could show up to court. Neither of us showed up to court because, this was supposed to be a charade and a sham. So I think I'm going to stop for there. And next, I'm going to start telling you guys about how we met, where this all started, and start talking to you a little bit about that. So, yeah, I'll tune in again for the next part.